So I'm here on the Volcanic Islands, and one of my friends let me use his MPS. Very nice of him. MPS means multiplayer server, as far as I know. So I'm here with the Brawler kit, and I'm going to show you a couple of the strategies that I use a lot of the time when I'm running away from people, or I'm trying to chase them or something like that. So one important thing is that when you're chasing someone, or when you're running away, don't just hold your thumb over the space bar, because that actually doesn't jump immediately when you hit the ground. It does it pretty close to when you hit the ground. So it's best to do it manual, kind of like that, because you get the best accuracy, and it doesn't look like it really has much of an effect, but once you get into like some of the really hard parkour and stuff like that, then it really has a big effect. So that's one thing I like to do. Another thing is that once I get over here onto this part of the island, let's say somebody's chasing me, I'm in full iron, he's in full diamond, I'm Brawler, don't really care what kit he is, except for Appler. I'll talk about Appler in a second. So if he's any kit but Appler, then he's chasing me, I go up on this side, and I try to get him to follow me over here, which is exactly what I want him to do. I circle around a little bit, or I can just go straight up right here. I want him to follow me, and then I go around these trees, he follows me around the trees, and then I flip back, and I start piling on those Brawler hits on him. And it just gets so much knockback. He goes into the water right there, or gets a lot of fall damage. They can't get up. This is really difficult to get back up from. So I can go right here and boom, get a bunch of knockback. He's knocked back into that water. I'm in the safe area, and it doesn't matter if he has full diamond or not, because he's gone. So a little bit of lag right there. So that's how you get rid of people who are chasing you. So if it's Berserker, if they're a Berserker, then you have to be a little bit more careful about what's going on, because they're going to be able to be a lot faster all of a sudden. So you'll have to, there was one video where someone was chasing me right here, and all of a sudden I flipped over here, just all of a sudden. So he was able, I was really low on health because I just fought somebody. So that's what happened. He flipped and I went right here, and that meant that he used his leap to try to get to me. So I was safe for a little bit, and then a teammate came up with me right here. So that's what you do against everyone except for Appler. Now if an Appler is coming, you have to be very, very careful, because I do not like Applers. So what I like to do here is I go right here and I put up a little bit of a wall. Just a little bit is all I need, because they try to go around it, and I like to put up a wall like maybe these 2 blocks right here. So then they are trying to go around, and they start coming around this way, and I can start piling on the hits. Doesn't matter if they're Appler, they're going into the water, they're done. That's just how it goes. So then I'm going to get a few blocks right here, and then I'm going to show you the tree strategy that I have all but perfected. I've just done it so many times. So I go over here. Let's say there are like 700 guys chasing me. That's not actually going to happen, but let's say it did. I go over here, and you need 5 blocks. You tower up on those 2 right there, and on this center one. When you're towering up on this center one, let's say an archer or an Appler is chasing you. You want to be pushed up against right here and holding forward and control. So that way if they hit you off with an Appler, you get knocked back, you're right back on that center right there. So that way you don't get knocked off. So you've got your 5 blocks, you go up right here, boom. This is your base. You know, tidy it up or however you want. So I usually mine out these 4 blocks just so I can have the max vision. So what I do right here is, usually they'll follow me up right there, and this is the Brawler heaven right here, because they chase me. What do? I start piling on those hits, I get knocked back against this block right here, and then they start getting knocked back right there. Oh, look at that. They get knocked down all the way to down here. Isn't that nice? That's about 21 blocks. 21 blocks is the limit to which you can fall and die. So that is probably my favorite strategy. That's how I've won a couple games where I've been at really bad odds. I've won a couple like 5v1s there and things like that just by using that strategy. So it's really served me pretty well. Alright, so in this video what I'm doing is I am using the strategy that I was just telling you about. So here we've got a couple red guys that are chasing after me, and what I just did is I took off my armor, so that way I'm hoping that they see just me without armor. So then I put it back on as soon as he's coming up. And an important thing to note here is that he waits for just a second. So that tells me he's Berserker. He waits for just a second to leap up, getting his trajectory right. Boom. He leaps up. I am on him right away. He knocks me back against those 2 cobblestone blocks. Doesn't really matter. I'm able to get up immediately, hop back onto those blocks, and I am safe. So I managed to get him, but then there are still 4 more guys that I have to worry about who are all trying to stack the red team, which is also really, really fun to fight. So I'm being very careful here, and we've got Venomex over there that's a couple blocks away. So then he gets going, and boom, I just hop on him right there. So then once I've got him, then, but I actually don't end up getting anyone else in this fight, but I'm just trying to make sure that all these guys get knocked off, and the more I can knock them off, just the more time I have to regenerate health. So then this guy over here, Cosmolink, he jumps up and he doesn't really get many hits on me because he was in a very bad position. These 2 cobblestone blocks that I've set up are very important, but it's also important for me to set up some other blocks so that way I don't fall off and I can get them to fall off more easily. So they're talking about how I'm low, but I'm actually not very low because I've been putting my soups on as much as I can during this time. So if I can just keep placing blocks here, then I will not get knocked off as easily. Eventually they start getting smart to what I'm using, so they start shooting me with arrows, and it doesn't do that much damage, but it does just enough. And this is where I start messing up. I go after Jack, which I shouldn't have done because he wasn't much of a threat at the moment, but Cosmolink was because he was right above me. So that's how you can tell that I messed up at that point, but it was still a really good game, so this is a pretty good representation of the fight. Another thing that I use when people are chasing me is I go around this part of the map. So I have practiced quite a bit to try and make sure I get these jumps right. So you want to try and jump on the edge of this block or something like that, and that one, that one, that one. So you don't want to get caught up, and you don't want to be the guy that's trying to jump around the outside like this, because they're going to catch up to you super easily. But the other aspect of Brawler that's really good on this island is that if I'm running over this way, they're chasing me, I do basically the exact same thing that happened over on that part of the island. Doesn't matter what kit they are. I run around this tree right here. So they start chasing me, come around this way, I go right here. They start coming around this way, I go right here. So then they come around, I flip back, and I start chasing them. And actually, I just did something there that I also want to talk about. If you are sprinting and you have blocks above you, then you're able to sprint a lot faster just by doing that. And I'm out of food, so I'll just do that. You're able to sprint a lot faster, and also you're able to get more crits going on your opponents. When I'm fighting people, I tend to not strafe around like this very much because of the nature of Brawler. So Brawler, with Brawler, you take 75% knockback and you give 125% knockback. So what really helps out is that is not strafing, because your knockback isn't being much of a big deal. But if you're like sprint jumping and canceling your sprint, just pressing control, sometimes not pressing control, that's really helpful. You can just pile on those crits. Sometimes you can get 3 hits in a row. It's really, really helpful. So you can just start piling them on and everything. And that's what I mean when I'm starting to stack opponents. When I say I'm stacking, I mean I'm stacking a multiplier on them. So I know all of this seems kind of weird because you probably never heard other people talk about this. It's just my own terminology that I've kind of come up with for using the Brawler kit. So you've got a kind of a knockback multiplier that you get on opponents. So let's say I hit someone once. They take however amount of knockback they're going to normally take. Let's say I hit them twice in a row. They're not going to go that normal knockback that they would have gone after only one hit. They're going to go several. So then the last one I'm going to talk about before the bridges fall is when someone's chasing me over here, I want to jump on this block and keep going, and then wait a second, I also did this in another video, and then I jump right here and I start stacking them, because with Brawler you always want the upper ground, because upper ground means that you can have a bunch of knockback going their way. So that's why you want to get as much as you can. When I'm attacking people, get them into the lava. That is how you're going to win. You get them into the lava, and you get them into the water, and your sword should be doing about half of the damage that you deal to opponents. So So your sword should be doing about half, and the rest of it should come from fall damage, lava, and water. That's how you know that you're really using your surroundings really well. Alright, so this is the start of another game where I'm using a strategy that I just showed you about. So, we've got a couple red guys that are pretty good who are heading over to me, and I am the only one who sees them. What do I do here? Easy. I wait for them to come over, and I try to knock them into the water. So this guy, I see him building over, so I just, boom. I time that, and I get so many hits on him right there. I get 5 or 6 to his 1, which is a great ratio to have going. This guy, I just combo like crazy. It was actually pretty fun to be able to do that. But then this Ryu guy gets right back on me. So that was very difficult to fight against. So then I get my team to shield me just a little bit, and we are up against South Coast Toast again. They're heading for me. I just drop back, get the soup on, get forward, get the soups on again. And this guy, I just try to combo like mad just by doing the control thing that I was just telling you about. And then later, once we clip to the next part of the video, then I am trying to attract the South Coast Toast guy again, because I just got the Ryu guy. So then, as I'm trying to attract them, then I run against another foe, and I actually didn't fight as well, but there was one thing I did perfectly here. So here I'm fighting against red, but all of a sudden I see green, and I don't get prepared in time. So, oh no, my hand is not on the sword. Boom. I just maneuver around, knock him into the water. That's exactly what I need to have happen. So I knock him into the water, he berserker leaps, that's okay. He knocks the lava on me. Lava doesn't matter. It really doesn't do as much damage in a PvP fight that you think it will. So then I knock him, and this, my friends, that is where all the damage comes in. So if we rewind just a little bit, you see that he is fighting me. I get a couple combos, and here's where he messes up. He goes for that ledge, but he doesn't keep sprinting, so he is running away, but he gets stuck up against those blocks. So that's why I was talking earlier about staying sprinting while you're jumping along those blocks. And that's where he messed up, and that's why I was able to get 3 or 4 hits on him. So that was the Brawler tutorial for Volcanic Islands. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy what I'm doing. Let me know in the comments of what suggestions you have for the different tutorials that I'm going to be doing for the other kits. Brawler is the one that I know the best. That's going to be the one that's going to be the tutorial that is the best. But I'll also need some more content for the other videos, because I used a good amount of content here. Some pretty good fights that I had been in previous videos. So I will be doing a bunch of other games to try and get some good content for kits like Bomber and Berserker, which are probably the 2 that I'm going to be doing most of the other tutorials for. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.